Another day, another heresy. Today we will paint an Alpha Legionnaire Space Marine. Our Legionnaire will be equipped with nothing more than a Volkite pistol and a combat knife. This is a kit-bashed model, slightly, as he has a Mark 7 backpack and a combat knife from the Mark 7 Tactical Marines as well. Oh wait, no, that one came from the Primaris Intercessors, that's why it's a back-ended one. Once again, proving reverse grip is the superior way to wield any weapon. We will base coat with granite steel, and, well, yeah, we're just gonna base coat with granite steel covering our entire model. We cover the entire model, that way it's easier to work with the contrast paints in the background. We currently have 4 contrast paints set up: Frostheart Blue, Eldari Emerald Blue, Dark Angels, wait no, Eldari Emerald's green, Dark Angels green, and, I swear to God, if I could actually read what that paint says, what is that color? Either way, it's magenta. At the end of the video, we will list all the paints that we have used, but it's not really that many. Kind of what's shown along with Abaddon. No, yeah, no, Abaddon Black. God, I am all out of sorts while recording the audio for this one. Swear to God. Valentine's Day had me all messed up because, well, this entire painting video came from Valentine's Day, and now I'm recording the audio for it, like, the day after. So, yeah, I guess consider this your Valentine's special. You get a covert operations espionage space marine. Not exactly the best type of Valentine's gift, but that's the one that we have. Yeah, I know I'm weird. But we're gonna load up our bottle with our paintbrush with the bottled Frostheart Blue contrast, and base coat the entire model, making sure it gets into all the recesses, all the nooks, and all the crannies. Later on, we'll come back with our Abaddon Black, fix up the armor, or no, not the armor panel, the black carapace panels with, well, you know, black. Kind of in the name there, isn't it? But, so far we just want to base coat our entire model. Not too hard. Now that we're all done there, we're going to take this little bit of bearded dragon scales. These scales came from the bottom side of the lizard. Granted, the lizard was not harmed in the making of this video or in the prior production of this video. These scales fell off naturally. Now, first things first, we're going to base coat the scales Abaddon Black. This will give us shadows and nice recesses for later. Which, if you saw the title picture for the video, well, you know, the recesses really help when they're black. But before we even start the painting, it's best that we cut it into a rectangular shape that will kind of really help out later when it comes to fitting it onto the backpack and, well, kind of on the backpack, but mostly around the arms and the shoulder pads. You'll see later, it's kind of interesting. Now, I believe it is time that we start painting the scales, now that they're all cut up. Well, kind of cut up. More or less, we got rid of the area of the scales that would overlap downwards and basically, like, banana inwards. Roll inwards? You know what I mean. But regardless, it's time that we grab a decent brush, a base coating brush of course, and begin base coating our scales. Now, once the scales are done, make sure that you don't handle them too much, as it could injure the scales or, like, rub paint off or something. It's best to let the scales do what the scales do. Look magnificent. And make everyone else at the store jealous. Is assuming that you go to your local gaming store to support it by buying the local gaming store's items, hobby tools, paints, rattle cans to base coat your models, or even just go there in general to socialize with your friends, other hobbyists, and or play games against them. And, show off your magnificent army of, well, I guess, Alpha Legion? Hmm. How would one go about playing Alpha Legion in 10th edition? Or even in Horus Heresy? Anyway, does the Alpha Legion have a scheme for the Saturn 9 Terminators? Hmm. I'll have to look into that. Now, as we continue our painting, we'll have to make sure that we flip over the scales and also base them as well black. Now, the way we're going to do the scales afterwards is different from each other. We don't want both sides being the exact same color, so we're going to go in with two different contrast paints when it comes to painting the scales. Also, don't mind my fingers if they get dirty, and don't mind if your fingers get dirty. You could always wash them later with some soap. I recommend Dawn as well. Dawn dish soap. It really helps get a... It cleans well, essentially is the... I'm talking too much, aren't I? See, this is why I can't be left to make my own videos, guys. I start yapping and I just don't stop. Now that we're done with the weird yapping, we can continue. Now we're going to take Lead Belcher and just highlight the bottom of areas that will look like it will be a bit darker on the armor. And then we'll go in with our Dark Angels green contrast paint. And yes, we will be getting back to the scales once they're dry. Now for this part, we just take our Lead Belcher and lightly highlight every area. Around the shins, well, shin ankle connections, the part between the toes and the actual armor plate on there, just underneath the elbows, the tips of the wrists, the bottom parts of the backpack, and even the bottom part of the chest plate. Like where the chest plate goes and connects to the tummy plate. Actually, now that I think about it, in the Horus Heresy trailer, it's a solid plate-like structure between the chest, upper chest that is, and belt buckle. Kind of a weird design, isn't it? I mean, it gives you very minimal maneuverability around your waist section. Huh. That's weird. All things together, I guess well, as much as I don't love the Primaris, but I don't really hate them either. Granted, I hate certain parts. I gotta give them that. They do have the superior tum-tums. I mean, even compared to the old Mark 7 kits, and Mark 3s, 2s, and basically all the Horus Heresy line, and, well, actually no, technically Mark 7 was introduced at the Siege of Terra, so Mark 7 Aquila should be considered a Horus Heresy armor. Mark 8 Errants, though, that's a different subject. But no, all the Firstborn stylized armors had very minimal maneuverability around the stomach. I gotta give Primaris that. They did improve it. And even then, they just put like one tummy plate, two tummy plate, lower back plate, and called it a day. They actually left the sides completely open. Interesting. But yeah, as you can see, color around the hands, under the elbow, under the elbows, right there, that area we were just talking about, actually, the stomach and chest divider area. Paint them all Lead Belcher. That way we have a darker color than our original Grey Knight Steel. It'll make it easier when we add on the Eldari Emerald or Dark Angels green. I forget which one I did. Either way, we'll get over there soon enough, so don't worry. Yeah. Okie dokie, we have just picked up our Eldari Emerald. That's the color that we did. Okay, that makes sense. There we go. Now, don't put too much. You don't want to pull it into the area, like I messed up right here on the backpack. Personally, I believe that the bottom part that I just did right there, it was good. But the first part of the backpack that I did, I think I did a bit too much. And yes, as much as I know there's a lot on those thermal vents right now, the legitimate vents are going to be painted into a different color as well later. Of course, we're going to go with the steelish type of colors. That way, it looks like it's metal. All that. Blah, blah, blah. Now, after a little anime style time jump, we're going to start our work on the face. The only part of the body that's actually bare flesh. Well, skin. Now we are going to start with a Screaming Skull. A very light tan. Well, pale skin tone. This is the skin tone that you expect to see when you see a goth girl. Basically no melanin at all. As if they had never seen the sun. Now, we're going to get every bit of skin that we can. All the way from the back of this chrome dome, all the way down to his very strong jawline, which is actually armored, in case anyone hasn't noticed. Now, this is a piece that comes from the Primaris Intercessors kit. It's a head. There's not much to write home about. It's just a bald person head. This is the head that your math teacher would have if he didn't, have those sides on. Like, you know how those math teachers always have that weird Friar Fred look around their head? Yeah. Yeah, get rid of all that hair, and this is what your math teacher would look like. And yes, I've seen your math teacher in particular. He has a very sharp jawline. So sharp that it actually has to be armored. God, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I need sleep. But the show must go on. So we're gonna finish this video. And in order to finish this video, it is time we move to our next part. Lead belching the Volkite pistol. Or Volkite Serpenta? What are the Volkite pistols called in Horus Heresy? I've forgotten. I mean, I've heard, like, the Legion Moriats carry twin Volkite Serpenta. So what are these ones called? The singular pistols they carry around. And yes, I know that the yapping is getting to be a bit much in this video. So for the next minute, let us have a moment of silent painting. Starting right about now. Did you miss me? Probably not. But that was a solid minute of just painting. Yeah, it was kind of terrible. I know you guys missed me though. Yeah. Now let's continue with the lead belching. Now that we've done all the lead belching, we're gonna put on Kislev Flesh. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's a layer paint, and it will darken up our skin to give them a more tan complexion rather than that uber pale complexion. Well, yes, I realize it's a very weird way that we're painting this model. I was kind of super distracted. And I kept getting distracted by different things, so, that's how it just goes. Now, continuing with our distractedness, let's make these scales look like scale mail armor. Silver's scale mail armor. As we're going to be taking Grey Knight steel again. And, I guess, secondary base coating our scales. Any second now. Okie dokie, here we go. Now we're actually starting up on the scales. Now, as you can see, the scales are just black. Not very deep. And there we go. Now, the scales, even now, they're not too strong. So, still, don't handle them too difficultly. And keep in mind, the scales on this part of the model, completely optional. The only reason that we do the scales is to mirror and, I guess, pay homage to older Alpharius artwork, what the models could be, and to our beautiful sniper armor in Space Marine 2 by Focus Entertainment. If anyone has done the Alpharius armor right, I think they have. If you paint it with Thunderhawk blue and Thousand Suns blue, I think you can make the armor look very pretty. Now it's time for our Dark Angels green contrast paint to come out. We're going to be painting the inside of our scales Dark Angels green contrast. What just happened? Oh, past me accidentally shifted the camera a little bit. Come on, buddy, fix it. There you go. Come on, dude, we gotta keep production value up. Seriously. Technical difficulty time. Oh, never mind. Now, first things first, base coat the scales Dark Angels green. Or I guess layer paint them. Technically this would be the third base coating, wouldn't it? Weird. Now we're gonna do this that way when we look at the front of the model, the scales look like a shadowy abyss behind them. But when we do the other side, they'll be beautiful, magnificent scales that'll even make the Primarchs jealous. Speaking of which, here we are once again with our more silver side. Now we're just going to throw an Aldari Emerald, and that's it. That is our recipe for getting bright, beautiful, and shiny scales. Now, with these scales, your Alpha Legionnaire will make all the heads turn on any battlefield that you play on, especially against your best friend. Now, this will more or less be a depiction of me trying to look at how I want to fit the scales onto the model, where they would go, and all that. Do I want to wrap them on the backpack like one of the new Wolf Scouts? Or similar to how the Eliminators have them? Or do I kind of want to taper them around to be like a legitimate cloak? As you'll see in a minute, I take a very different approach. I remove the backpack. I cut the scales down a bit, and I fit them around the model. And with that, the model will be just about done. And here we go. The last part of the scales. Beautiful, isn't it? Alright, now let's get that little thing out of here. Go away. And with that, here's our hero. Or, Marine, I guess. He's not really a hero. He's just a guy. A Alpha Legionnaire Space Marine. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to Naomi. Thank you to Valerie. To my girlfriend. To her mother. to her brother, to everyone. Like, comment, and subscribe. Following will be the list of paints that were used in the video.